Good morning, students. How are you all? Yes, I'm being the co-host also. When meeting passcode. Yes. Yes, everyone. Good morning. So you can see the co-host also. So message to the co-host. Now going to today is Wednesday, right? This week, this is our last lecture for this week. Okay. On Monday only, next Monday. So first thing here, we are discussing chemical bonding in a chemical bond. So I'll share the screen. Check notes. So we are discussing a chemical bond. Within chemical bonding, a covalent bond we are discussing. So let us discuss today covalent bond in little more detail, plus ionic bond also. One second. Let me first explain the concept, and then we'll put the other points. The recordings and all you have to it is not me to ask you your recordings. You have to take the help of your principal, admin people. Okay, na? I'm not maintaining the recordings today. Understanding? Okay. So covalent bond, it is a chemical bond formed by sharing of electrons between two atoms, like H2 molecule formation. Each hydrogen is sharing one electron. This is giving one electron, this is also giving one electron. So this is a shared pair of electrons present between two bonded atoms. Okay. this is the orbital diagram also. How a covalent bond is formed. The orbital having an electron with a other atom orbital having its electron will be overlapping. This is the region of overlap region where the maximum electron density of the shared electron pair will be present. Maximum of the shared electron pair electron density will be present. And already I told you, the more is the extent of overlapping, the more is the strength of the covalent bond formed. And the order here is PP overlapping is more than SP overlapping than SS overlapping. Got it? This is a point we have discussed. Then another important point we have taken, that is a covalent bond is formed between two non-metal atoms. Where do you find the non-metal atoms in periodic table? Where do you find the non-metal atoms in the periodic table? In P block, P block is the one which will have non-metals. P block elements and hydrogen of S block will be the non-metals which will form a covalent bond. Non-metals atoms or electronegative atoms. Atoms elements can be divided into two types. You know this also. You have an entire chapter also. Metals and non-metals. Metals are electropositive atoms and non-metals are electronegative atoms. When such two electronegative atoms, a bond is formed between two electronegative atoms, then you can call it as a covalent bond. Understood this point? Now going to the next point, new point to discuss today. Very interesting point. These are also, we didn't give any number now. Okay. So next point is if each atom contribute, or if both atoms, one second, I will write it like this. If both atoms contribute electrons into sharing, then the bond formed, then it results in, then the bond formed is called I think you are able to see it, na? Yes. Then the bond formed is called, then the bond formed is a normal covalent bond. Understanding? That means if this is one orbital, let us assume this is having one electron. This is one atom. Let us say atom A. This is overlapping with another atom, and this is a nucleus array. Nucleus, surrounding to the nucleus, orbital will be present. Within the orbitals, electrons will be present. So this is a atom B and its electron. Then when both atom A is contributing one electron, atom B is also contributing one electron, then whatever we get, and you see this is the molecular axis along which a bond is formed. I will come back to that point also. Little not looking proper enough. I will take it here like this. Okay, so these are the bonded electrons. Let us take it in a different color. Got it? So this is a normal covalent bond. But sometimes what happens, you know, but sometimes only one atom contribute both the electrons and other atom just to share these electrons by its vacant orbital. That means, you see, orbital diagram I will give you, very easily you can understand. You see here, atom A is contributing both electrons and atom B is not having any electrons. Got it? When such two orbitals, one is a filled orbital, another one is a vacant orbital, are overlapping, you will be getting will get the bond like this. But here in this molecule formation, this is A, B, and there is a bond between them. But you see, between this bond and this bond, is there any difference? A, B is also A, B. Do you find any difference here? You don't find it. Yes or no? This is because orbitals are there, they have overlap, and there is an electron pair shared between the two atoms, two orbitals. So after bond formation, you cannot differentiate between the bonds, but you can recognize the difference before the bond formation. In one of the case, both atoms are contributing one electron, whereas in another case, only one atom is contributing both electrons, another atom is not contributing any electron. It is just sharing the electrons using its vacant orbital. One simple logic I will tell you. Suppose you two friends are there. You will put 1 lakh rupees into business, and your friend also will keep 1 lakh rupees, and you will share the profit. In the other case, you only will invest 2 lakh rupees, and your friend will not invest any amount, but he will also share the profit. In this manner, the difference can be present between both the bonds formed. And this type of bond formed, the second type of bond formed is called, such a bond is called coordinate covalent bond or dative bond. Coordinate covalent bond or dative bond. I'll keep it on one note. So many messages are coming. Copy this one. So this is a normal covalent bond, and this is a dative bond or coordinate covalent bond. Copy it. Completed. You three, Akshay, Venkat, and Manan, do it fast. Completed, everyone? We'll go to the next page. Javeer, Venkat. Venkat is there? Next. If the orbitals overlap along the molecular axis, such a covalent bond formed is called sigma covalent bond. Very important, sigma covalent bond, or in short, sigma bond also you can, sigma covalent bond. And this is denoted by sigma, symbol sigma, sigma bond. Okay, so that is, if this is one atom and this is another atom, and both orbitals are overlapped along the, or I will give you, see, this is the axis, and along the same axis, the other orbital also approach to overlap. Then that results in the formation of bond form like this. This is the molecular axis, the axis along which the atom nuclei will be present, internuclear axis or molecular axis. Okay, so if along the axis, if the orbitals are, if this is a molecular axis, okay, let us assume z axis, assume it as z axis, okay. And in most of the cases also in books, not to have confusion, like you see, I am taking z axis, you may take a x axis, and your friend may take a y axis, so it will create confusion, na? So to avoid this confusion, what the chemists have decided is, whenever we discuss about the molecular axis, to consider z axis to be the molecular axis. Any axis we can take, and all are same only. So z axis will be considered as the molecular axis to avoid the confusions. Remember this point. Okay, z axis will be the molecular axis in general. So along the z axis, the two orbitals are overlapping. Then such a bond formed is called, along the z-axis, and such a bond formed is called a sigma bond. Sigma bond. Okay, na? And sometimes what happens, if the orbitals overlap perpendicular to the molecular axis, that is lateral overlapping. then the covalent bond formed is called pi bond, pi, or symbol pi bond, pi. That is, you see here, this is a molecular axis, z axis, but orbitals are present like this. So when such orbitals overlap, you will be getting like this. Then it is called pi bond. Pi bond. Understood the point? And if you observe another very important point, during sigma bond formation, extent of overlapping is more. During sigma bond formation, extent of overlapping is more. Whereas by lateral overlapping, the extent of overlapping is lesser. As extent of overlapping is lesser during a pi bond formation, a pi bond is weaker than a sigma bond. Sigma bond is stronger and pi bond is weaker. Got it? Copy this page. Fatafat. Whoever all are copying, raise your hand. Okay, take it. Match paper. So today we have to now covalent bond we are completing. Then we need to discuss ionic bond also, so that this week the syllabus will be complete. Some more important points are there of covalent bond. After that, we'll go for ionic bond. Completed, everyone? Oh, still taking. Generally, z-axis is considered as the molecular axis, internuclear axis. After you complete it, down the hand, Ray. Ritesh, Rahul, Bhaskar, Jayveer, Ritesh, are you there, Nana? Ritesh, we are waiting for you only. Very good. So that point, what I have told, very, very important point, write down. The extent of overlapping in sigma bond is greater than in pi bond formation, than in pi bond. Therefore, sigma bond is stronger than pi bond. This is the first point. Another point, you see, a pi bond is always formed as a second bond only that is without sigma bond, pi bond is not formed. But pi bond can be formed, but sigma bond can be formed alone. Got it? But sigma bond can be formed alone. Understanding? If two electrons are shared single bond, sigma, if that is, you see, if you want as an example, you can take what do you take as an example? Okay, as we are not going into more detail, let us write it like this: AB. two only electrons are shared between the two atoms, then it is single bond. And that single bond itself is the sigma bond, because the first bond formed between two atoms will be a sigma bond. Okay, na? If 4 electrons are shared, then it will be a double bond, one sigma, one pi bond, one sigma and one pi bond. Like you see, A, B, like this. This is a sigma bond and this is a pi bond. Pi bond. In a similar manner, you can write for triple bond also, na? First to copy this page, fatafat. I will try to adjust here itself so that we will save time. If 6 electrons are shared between two atoms, then it forms a triple bond. Among the triple bond, one will be sigma bond, the remaining two will be pi bonds. A, B. This is a sigma bond, this is a pi bond, this is also a pi bond. Only one will be the sigma bond, the remaining all will be pi bonds. And the maximum number of bonds between two atoms can be 3 only. 3 is the maximum number of bonds between two atoms. More than 3 is not possible. Copy this page, Nana. Completed, Venkat? Yes. Next, another point, what we can for covalent bond. Okay. Now you see Cl2 molecule formation. Example I am giving, Cl2 molecule formation. Chlorine, we know first of all, chlorine atomic number is a 17. And if you write its electronic configuration, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, this is the first shell, second shell. Then third shell I am writing 3s2, 3p5. This is the third shell. Yes or no? So in the valence shell, that is the third shell, 7 electrons are present. Now I will write it as Cl with the valence shell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many electrons it is deficient to reach the octet configuration? That is 8 electrons. Octet configuration is the configuration of noble gases. Everybody know this one, na? Everybody know this. This is the octet configuration. So to get this octet configuration, noble gas configuration, chlorine is a deficient of one more electron. So what chlorine will do is it will pair up with another chlorine atom. Another chlorine atom. So this will donate this electron. This also will donate this electron and will result in the formation of Cl bond Cl. These are the lone pairs. Unshared electron pairs, unbonded electron pairs are called lone pair. This is a lone pair, lone pair, lone pair, lone pair, lone pair, lone pair. This is a bonded pair. Got it? I'll write with the blue. All lone pairs I will write with the blue. Unshared electron pairs are called lone pairs. Shared electron pairs are called bond pairs. Bond pairs. This is a bond pair. Got it? With this, what is the point is chlorine is getting octet, 8 electrons. This chlorine atom is also getting octet. So both chlorine atoms are reaching to octet configurations. Understanding? Like this. So this is about covalent bond. Now let us discuss in brief about the ionic bond also. Remember, covalent bond is formed between two non-metals. That point also I will give you. See, bond between two non-metals, electronegative atoms. Is covalent bond. Okay, na? Bond between two metals or electropositive atoms is metallic bond. Like alloys are there, na? Alloys. So in alloys, metal-metal bond will be formed. Sorry. Then bond formed between metal and non-metal or electropositive and electronegative atoms is ionic bond. Ionic bond. Remember these points. Copy this. Then we will go to the ionic bond. Last discussion. Ionic bond. So many points are there, na? Very important points. Abhiram also copied. Okay. So next, Manan, are you copying? Take it. Let me know once it is completed. Again, everyone. Akash, Bhaskar, Akash and Bhaskar. Very good. Next, ionic bond. Ionic bond is also called as electrovalent bond. Okay, na? Electrovalent bond. A chemical bond formed by transfer of one or more electrons between two atoms is called ionic bond. A chemical bond formed by transfer of electrons between two atoms is called ionic bond. That is, one atom should lose the electrons and other atom should gain that electrons. Then it is called ionic bond. I will give you a simple example. You see, there is a, suppose, let's say, we will take the real example itself. Okay, na? There is a sodium atom. You know what is the atomic number of sodium? 11, na? So its electronic configuration will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. And that means sodium is having in its valence shell 1 electron. Yes or no? Is having in its valence shell 1 electron. What about chlorine? Chlorine atomic number is 17. So it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. First shell, second shell, third shell. Third shell is having, that is a valence shell is having 7 electrons here. Now what sodium will do is whatever the single electron it is having, it will give its electron. I will write it like this. You see, sodium single electron, this is will be given to chlorine 7 electrons, like this. So sodium will give its electron and forms Na plus, and Cl gains that electron and forms a. Why sodium is having positive charge? Because it is losing 1 electrons, the number, the magnitude of positive charge is dependent on how many electrons an atom is losing. 1 positive charge means because of loss of 1 electron. If 2 positive charges are there, like magnesium 2 plus, it means that magnesium atom is losing 2 electrons to become plus 2. Okay, na? And here chlorine has gained this electron. Now chlorine with 7 electrons, it was neutral atom, but it has gained 1 extra electron, so it will develop negative charge. 1 negative charge because 1 extra electron is gained. If 2 electrons are gained, 2 negative charges, like S 2 minus, sulfide ion, S2 minus. So now this process of transfer of electron from one atom to the another atom is only called ionic bond formation. Is only called ionic bond formation. You may ask, sir, where is the bond here? Where is the bond here to call it as ionic bond? Actually, Nana, the ionic bond means that it is a transfer of electrons only, or for your convenience, you can also define ionic bond as the electrostatic attraction between cation and anion is called ionic bond. That is the reason why it is called as a electrovalent bond. Understanding the electrostatic attraction between cation and anion is called electrovalent bond or ionic bond. I am writing electrovalent front because the definition itself is with respect to electrostatic attraction, electrovalent bond or ionic bond. Understanding the point, one atom will lose the electrons, another atom will gain the electrons, and that formed cation and anion will have attraction between them, oppositely charged particles. So they will have electrostatic attraction between them, and such an electrostatic attraction is only called as ionic bond. Understood, everyone? This is a very simple, most basic explanation I am giving, and a lot of concepts are there to build up, to go in advanced level. That all we will be discussing in later stages. Okay, so now we are having a 10 minutes. You copy this page, and if you are anybody is having any doubts, you can ask your doubts. So you can understand one point here. This is a metal, yes or no? And this is a non-metal. Already I gave you this point. An ionic bond will be formed between a metal and non-metal. That means it will be between an S block and P block elements, or D block and P block elements, or F block and P block elements. Copy this page first, and then I'll make the session open for your doubts. Everybody feeling the concept? You are enjoying the concept enough? Don't mug up anything. You understand each and every point. Feel it, so that you will enjoy it. And once you enjoy the subject, you start loving the subject, and automatically marks will be coming. Okay, it is not a mechanical process. You have to feel the concepts. Then only securing of a good result will be possible with minimum efforts. Otherwise, without interest, you have to put a lot of efforts to get marks. That will not work also. Copied, everybody? Copied? Okay. Meanwhile, I'll give the option also. You may need the time to type also. Na? Others can continue copying. Very interesting questions are coming. Very good. Let me see them completely. Don't repeat the questions. If you repeat the questions, I have to keep it on mute. And another thing about the recordings and all, you need not ask me, you ask the management. You ask the doubts related to the concepts. Okay. Sir, is pi bond, Prasanna's doubt, sir, is pi bond and sigma bond are polar and non-polar bonds? No, I am not entering into polar and non-polar bonds because that needs a concept of polarity. We have not discussed the polarity, but as you have asked the doubt, I will tell you, say, if a bond is formed between two different electronegative atoms, like hydrogen and chlorine, if bond is formed between hydrogen and chlorine, then such a bond is called a polar bond. But if a bond is formed between two similar electronegative atoms, like two hydrogen atoms, H2 molecule, then it is a non-polar bond. Basic point. Understanding? So if electronegativity difference is there, then you will call it as a polar bond. And if no electronegativity difference, non-polar bond. Jackie Numan doubt, sir, is every metal and non-metal bond is ionic bond? Yes. Yes, Nana. The bond formed between a metal and non-metal is ionic bond. Then Manan is asking you to unmute. Yes, okay. Yes, sir. Can you explain the method of electronic configuration? Electronic configuration will be explained from tomorrow onwards. It will be explained. Yes, okay, na? In physical chemistry, from tomorrow onwards, the physical track will start, na? So there will be electronic configuration explanation. Okay, no need to worry. And still, if you are not understanding, you can personally you can reach to me. So can Venkat doubt, sir, can you give an example for dative bond? Dative bond, I intend, I did not give the examples for dative bond. Okay, as you are asking, I will give you the example. You see, example for dative bond. There is an ammonia molecule, na? Ammonia molecule, you know, na? NH. And ammonia has a lone pair. This is a lone pair. Remember, lone pair. So ammonia lone pair will be shared with a s orbital of hydrogen. That is a H plus ion. It results in the formation of N, H. This is the arrow H. This arrow indicates that a dative bond is formed between nitrogen and hydrogen. Got it? And overall, you can write the positive charge. Denoted by arrow. Got it? Akshay, I already told you to electronegativity you are asking. Oxides nature we are not discussing, Surya, but still metal oxides are basic in nature, non-metal oxides are acidic in nature, and metalloid oxides will be amphoteric in nature. Got it? So now how can you find charges of ions? That is based upon how many electrons are lost by a metal atom and how many electrons are gained by a non-metal atom. Why is a triple covalent bond has 2 pi bonds and 2 pi bonds are there? Yes, triple bond has 1 sigma bond and 2 pi bonds. Double bond has 1 sigma bond and 1 pi bond. More information I will explain you in the upcoming classes. Teja Krishna, can ionic compounds elements become completely compounds? Yes, ionic compounds are complete compounds. Sodium chloride is a complete compound, na? Abhilash, Sir, once please show the metallic bond so that I can write. Metallic bond is the bond formed between two metal atoms. That is only there. I have written. A bond formed between two metal atoms is called a metallic bond. Example I have given for dative bond Vikas. Sir, is sigma bond a normal covalent bond? Sigma bond and normal covalent bond same. See, normal covalent bond means it can be a sigma bond or it can be a pi bond. Both sigma and pi bonds are normal covalent bonds. Understanding? I did not understand the electronic Manan, that will be explained in tomorrow's class. Would you show yesterday's notes? No, yesterday's notes I will not show. Every day in the class I am giving sufficient time to take it. Okay na? Again and again I will not entertain about the previous classes. Already the time is limited for us, so that such type of time wastings cannot be done. Sir, author doubt, sir, how can we find charges in electrovalent bond? See, I already explained this doubt. It is dependent on how many electrons each atom is losing. Got it? Sir, sigma bond, again you are repeating, you see, Jackie Numan. Sir, if there is a sigma bond, one sigma bond, is it single bond, and one sigma and one pi bond, double bond? Correct, Nana? Okay. Again and again, you have given the same doubt. Lanthanides and actinoids. Lanthanides you remember once, and actinides you remember once. Same, repeated. Okay. Siddhartha, we cannot compare between the strengths of ionic bond and covalent bond. Understanding? They are two different concepts. We cannot compare between them. Understood the point? There is no comparison between ionic bond and covalent bond. You can compare within the ionic bonds, you can compare, or within the covalent bonds, you can compare. Comparing between ionic bond and covalent bond is not actually correct. Coordinate covalent bond is a bond formed when one atom donates both the electrons and other atom will not donate any electrons into sharing. Only one atom will give electrons into bond formation. Other atom will just share that electrons. We are not talking. We are not bothering about the weightage of chemistry. Anything here. We are only trying to become expert in the concepts. I don't believe in a weightage, blueprint, etc. Okay, na? Every chapter is equal to me. Sir, how many overlappings will be there in pi bond? Two overlappings will be there. Upper lobes will have one overlapping and lower lobes will have another overlapping. Example for coordinate bond I have given. That is what here you are seeing. Nitrogen is sharing its electron pair into bond formation. Understanding? Yes, Manan? Those who have completed can leave.
Sir, could you go to the previous page? I have a doubt in that. But sometimes only one atom contribute.
This one?
No, sir. Even behind this. No, sir. One more. Sir, this one. But sometimes only one atom contribute both the electron.
That is what the coordinate covalent bond, na?
Yes, sir.
No. You are asking about this one.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
One second. You are asking, yes, this one. But
yes,
sometimes only one atom contribute both electrons and other atom just to share these electrons. One atom is only contributing both electrons, other atom is not giving any electrons into sharing. Such a type of bond formed is called coordinate covalent bond.
No, sir, I know that, but sir, I didn't understand how is it possible, sir.
It is possible. It is the coordination when atoms are coming together and trying to form a molecule. Molecule formation is a stabilization concept, stability concept. So during when atoms are coming in errors, there will be sometimes possible that one atom may have the electrons, but other atom available, other atom present opposite to it may not be having the electrons. But the atom which is having the excess electrons can only give the both the electrons and can share the electrons and can form the molecule. And formation of molecule will decrease the net energy of the system. That means exothermic, which is a spontaneous, which is a favorable.
Okay, sir.
Okay, na? Next, Venkat, you also have any doubt, Ray? Venkat is there?
No, sir.
No. Okay.
Sorry, sir.
Okay.
I forgot to
it's
lower
okay.
my hand.
It's okay, Nanda. So I am closing it here. Ray Sai, single covalent bond means if only one electron pair is shared, it is a single covalent bond. If two electron pairs are shared, then it is a double bond. If three electron pairs are shared, then it is a triple bond. What is there? Okay, na? So we'll close it here and we'll meet in the next lecture. That is next Monday only. So revise the concepts, understand them, and read the NCERT textbook and also the sheet we have provided. Okay, na? So take care. Bye.